What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another weekday Week 9 preview and prediction. This one going to be taking place late Friday night because it's taking place out near the West Coast. In Las Vegas, Nevada, we have a rematch of the Mountain West Championship game. Heisman hopeful Ashton Jeanty and the ranked Boise State Broncos have firm grasp of that group of 5 spot in the playoff field as of right now. But here comes UNLV. There was all the drama with Matthew Sluka. Haj Malik Williams has stepped in and kept the Rebels in the race, and this is a massive one between two teams that, could possibly meet again in the Mountain West Championship game. And I'll tell you everything you need to know about the regular season matchup between the Broncos and Rebels here in just a little bit. But before we do that, you guys know I got to say thank you for all the love and support this channel has seen and will continue to see. Please, if you are as big of a college football nerd as I am and you haven't done so already, you might as well hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I post a lot of college football content. Gonna try now, as we're getting closer towards playoff time, as we're getting closer to the end of the season, post some more specialty videos and stuff like that here as well. But if you want to help support the channel in any other way that you can, just interact with the channel. Of course, subscribing, ringing the bell, and doing what you're doing already and watching this video are huge things, and I thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. But you can also like, you can comment, you can share, and please go give me a follow on Twitter or X if you want to see my journey to be a sports media professional and just some of the other work I do within the realm of sports media, podcasts, articles, games I call, everything else. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Broncos, it's the Rebels from Las Vegas, Nevada, a huge matchup within the Mountain West Conference this Friday. How do we do preview predictions here on my channel? Glad you asked. We'll take a deep dive here into some of the keys to the game when each team possesses the football. So we'll first look at what to watch for when the Broncos offense is on the field against this Rebel defense. And then we'll take a look at UNLV's offense against Boise State's defense. I'll give you some final thoughts, how I think this game is going to play out, as well as a final score prediction for who comes away with the W in Las Vegas, Nevada. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start by talking about the Boise State offense, and I have to start nowhere else but the man, the myth, the legend, and the Heisman frontrunner in many people's eyes right now in Ashton Jeanty. Through this point in the season, halfway point for Boise State through 6 games, he's just been simply sensational. He almost has as many rushing yards as the quarterback for Boise State has passing yards. That is ridiculous. He's got 1,248 rushing yards and 17 rushing touchdowns. Already, you extrapolate that out to a full 12-game schedule, maybe including the Mountain West Championship game. He's on pace for over 2,500 yards and at least 35 touchdowns, and he's averaging 9.9 yards per carry. Ashton Jeanty, just stop it. He's been ridiculous this year. If he doesn't make it to New York, that is a crying shame, which won't happen. He will make it to New York. He's been one of, if not the best player in the entire country in 2024, but he's going to be facing a very tough Rebel defensive front here. They only allow 104 rush yards per game, and they're among the nation's leaders in sacks and tackles for loss, as well as turnovers forced. This is a very aggressive Rebel defense who, yes, can get beat in the secondary, and we'll talk more about that later, but this rush defense especially, I should just say this defensive front, whether it's front 6, front 7, whatever scheme they happen to be playing in, is really, really good. It will get after the quarterback. It will get into the backfield really, really fast. It'll generate sacks. It'll generate tackles for loss. It will force some turnovers, this defensive front, as one of the most impactful position groupings in all of college football so far this season. That's across both Group of 5 and Power 5. Now, we all know what has happened when Ashton Jeanty has faced some pretty solid rush defenses so far this season. He's absolutely gassed them. And the biggest test that Boise State has faced so far this year, and the currently undefeated and #1 team in the country, the Oregon Ducks, Ashton Jeanty ripped them up too. 192 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaged 7.7 yards per carry. Oregon's rush defense, has not really been that bad so far this season. Yes, it has had some struggles, but this probably the best run defense that Boise State has faced so far this season. Now, I talked about the likes of this pass game, right? I don't think that you can discount Boise State in the pass game because It is the weak point of this UNLV Rebels defense. If you want to beat UNLV, you have to be able to throw the football. Now, no one can slow down Ashton Genty right now. Will UNLV be able to? You'll have to find out until the end and what I think about that. But you absolutely cannot discount Maddox Madsen and what he's able to do with this pass game. Again, just has about the same amount of passing yards as Ashton Genty has rushing yards, which still is crazy to say, but 1,273 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 2 picks. He's been pretty solid so far this year, and he has an offensive front that has been really good in pass protection. It's a really good team on third down. They don't turn the football over. Again, Madsen has just made a very few mistakes this year. He loves to throw out to Cam Camper. He's got 4 touchdowns so far this year. Lauder, the tight end, is a big receiving target for them. Caples and Perry are some other guys that you will see here within the pass game for Boise State. It is mainly Camper and Lauder. And, of course, the offense is going to flow through Ashton Genty in that backfield. But if you want to be able to beat UNLV and hit them where it hurts, Ashton Genty is going to get his yards. He's going to get his carries. He's going to have a big game no matter what because he is nearly impossible to stop. But I think if you want to be able to have more of an advantage against this Rebel defense, you got to be able to throw the football, and you got to be able to make some really big-time throws because, again, UNLV, even though Genty is going to get his yards, he's going to get his carries, and Boise State is going to get their points through him, UNLV is going to have some moments throughout this game where they put Boise State behind the sticks, where they get some sacks, they get some tackles for loss. It is inevitably going to happen. It's how good this UNLV defensive front is. Madsen's got to be able to make a play on third down and long. He's got to be able to hit some throws down the field, create some explosiveness through the air. But a big key here, watch out for UNLV's special teams. I think special teams are going to play a big part in this game on both sides, but I especially want to highlight the likes of the Rebels special teams. They've blocked, I think, 4 punts so far this season. 3 of them have been by Ricky White. 2 of them have been returned for touchdowns. They have a kick return for a touchdown this season, and their special teams as a whole, field goal kicking, punting, everything has been spectacular for the Rebels so far this year. Boise State cannot allow UNLV to A, block a punt, B, return anything for a touchdown. That's just going to make things harder on what this Bronco offense is going to have to do. Again, Ashton Genty is going to get his yards. He's nearly impossible to stop. We don't need to talk about that any further. Madsen is the X factor in this game. If he can make some big-time throws, it's going to make things really hard for UNLV's defense and make things hard for the offense to be able to step up and sort of fill that role. Now, much like Boise State, who kind of flows this offense through Ashton Genty, UNLV also flows their offense through the run game. Now, it doesn't flow through one super specific person. It's kind of a run by committee team. You got I'm counting right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with at least 30 rushes on the season. Now, one of them was Matthew Sluka. He, of course, is no longer with the team. He decided to not play for the team anymore because of an NIL dispute, so we can take his name out of this role. So you're looking at the quarterback who's playing for him right now, and Haj Malik Williams. Throwing the football, has 10 touchdowns, 2 picks, only 838 yards. Again, he's not going to shock you with those numbers, but he still has been really good and is the leading rusher on this team. He's averaging 6.4 yards per carry. He's leading the team in rushing touchdowns so far. And you look at some of the guys they pair in the backfield with him. Kylan James, as a senior, has 3 rushing touchdowns, as well as Jaden Thomas as a sophomore, also 3 rushing touchdowns as well. Thomas has had 15 more carries than that of James, but James averages about a yard more in yard per carry. So when you take a look at this UNLV offense, again, it is highlighted by this run game, but it does not flow through one person like it does with Boise State and Ashton Genty. If you slow one concept and one person in this UNLV rushing attack down, well, they got 2 or 3 more that they're going to be able to throw at you. And Haj Malik Williams, even though he hasn't thrown the ball as much as some other quarterbacks throughout the nation, it's just the style of offense UNLV runs, Williams has been able to throw the ball still pretty well. Again, that is going to be the X factor here in this game because much like UNLV's defense, Boise State's defense is highlighted by their defensive front six, front seven, or whatever scheme and schematic style they happen to play, and being able to defend the run and being able to create pressure. They lead the nation in sacks. They have 29 sacks through 6 games, and if you extrapolate that out, they're on pace for nearly 60 sacks this season, which is absolutely crazy. However, they do not force a lot of turnovers, and they're not that great on third down. And again, they are weak in the secondary. So Malik Williams, he's filling in nicely, especially within that run game because of his athleticism. But much like I think Madsen is an X factor on the side of Boise State, I think Malik Williams is an X factor on the side of UNLV. I think he's got to be able to make some throws. He's got to be able to complete some very nice balls and be able to get some explosiveness through the air there in this game. This Broncos secondary has also got to be able to find an answer for Ricky White. No, he's not as dynamic as what Ashton Jeanty is, but he is the best wide receiver that you will see on either side here in this game. Ricky White has got 614 yards on 46 catches for 9 touchdowns, and he basically is the only guy that UNLV throws to. There's only one other guy that has at least 10 catches. He's got 17. It's Jacob Day Jesus. Yes, he's going to be involved in this offense as well, but it mainly is Ricky White. He's got, I believe, 50 offensive touches this year because he does have 1 carry technically, and it did only go for 1 yard. But again, nearly, if not already, Ricky White's touched the ball 50 times offensively, and he is a huge force in the special teams aspect as well. The Broncos have got to be able to find an answer for him. This is a secondary that has really struggled for Boise State so far this year. If Malik Williams to Ricky White is going to be a connection that is working all game long, no matter how good Ashton Jeanty and this Boise State offense are going to be able to produce, it could just prove to end up being a shootout, whichever team has the ball last, but the turnover battle will be crucial. These are 2 defenses that don't really force a whole lot of turnovers, but 2 offenses that don't really force, or actually 2 offenses that don't really give the football away either. I'll just go ahead and rephrase that because I know I stuttered and everything. 2 defenses don't really force turnovers, 2 offenses that don't give the football away. So the turnover battle, I think, will be something to watch here in this one as well. But again, 2 very similar stories. 2 teams that love to run the football offensively, 2 defenses that have really, really strong defensive fronts but struggle in the secondary. Who are you going to pick here? I mean, for Boise State, if Ashton Jeanty cannot be stopped, which, let's face it, I don't think anybody can stop Ashton Jeanty. I don't think any defense is going to be able to bring him down or to corral him. It's going to be a long day for the UNLV defense. Much likewise for the Boise State defense, if they can't slow down Ricky White and slow down the run game of Malik Williams, it's going to be a really long day for them. It's just which team do I think is going to do a better job at slowing the other team down? Because I do see this being a heavy offensive game in which one of these 2 teams' defensive fronts is going to have to step up and make plays. The team that I think is going to make more big plays, the Boise State Broncos. I got them winning this one 41-37. I am all about Boise State. I am on the hype train, if you can even call it that. Ashton Jeanty is my Heisman frontrunner right now. He can put the team on his back, and I think he's going to have a phenomenal performance. And when you talk about these 2 teams' defensive fronts, Boise State has faced a pretty solid defensive front already in that of the Oregon Ducks. Now, I know Oregon at that time wasn't playing their best football, and they're a lot better now than they were then, but they still faced a lot of really good weapons, and right now the number 1 team in the country, UNLV, has not faced someone like that so far this season. They faced Syracuse. They have a pretty solid pass rush, but it's nothing like the Boise State Broncos have. I think the Bronco defense makes more plays in the backfield. Ashton Jeanty has a bigger day than Ricky White and Malik Williams, and the Broncos remain on top the group of 5 rankings in the college football playoff race. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Remember to play hard but tailgate harder, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. More predictions out tomorrow. Goodbye.